Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's after church tea time. I'm your host, Carmen. I'm here with Rachel and Nikki and Andy. Welcome, everyone, and welcome to everyone's watching. We are going to discuss today's sermon about opening up to receiving your guru's love and support, hosted or done by Shaleia. And I felt it was a really beautiful sermon, starting like with the music, of course, and the meditation. Like I started tearing up during the meditation because it was so, just realizing how loved we are in God and from God and from our gurus. And just let me introduce and settle in Valentina.
Hi, can you hear me?
Hi. Yes, we can hear you. Welcome.
Yes.
We are already on Facebook.
Sorry, I'm trying to get this camera on. I don't know why it's not working.
It's fine. Take your time.
That's okay. You do your thing. I don't know what's going on.
Okay. And I feel like what were your biggest takeaways from today's sermon?
Well, first of all, I was really glad that it was Shaleia. I love her sermon. She's fabulous, bless her. Yeah, she spoke about how in the West, like guru can have different meanings, like fitness guru or what have you. And in my Wing Chun Kung Fu club, Sifu told us that in the East, they call the Wing Chun students disciples, but in the West, they call them students because of the religious connotations, because people would interpret it differently in the West. But that's also very similar to the Buddhism that I used to practice, where it was written that when somebody is on the home stretch to enlightenment, they have to study under a master and be their disciple or student. And I studied Buddhism, practiced it, devoted myself to seeking enlightenment before I knew what twin flames were. Of course, the number one reason the only reason I was doing this was my twin flame. Didn't know about twin flames at the time. I had never heard of them. And it seemed like I would have to attain full enlightenment or ascension before I could be free of the separation. But that's not actually the case. I mean, Jeff and Shaleia's path, they teach a path to enlightenment or perfect union, but with them, you get to do it with your twin flame, together with them. You don't have to wait, and that's perfect. That's the one for me. I want some of that, lots of. Yeah, so it's really nice how it all all the other practices I've done, or I'm still doing, it all ties into them perfectly.
For me, I would say it really helped me gain clarity on when exactly in my journey after I found out about Jeff and Shaleia, when exactly I actually accepted them in my heart to be my guru. Because I didn't have full clarity there, even though I knew that I had accepted them as my guru. And also because like we met before knowing the teaching, like the primary reason why we were very enticed to learn about the school and the teaching was so we could get back together. And it was something that Shaleia also mentioned throughout the sermon, that like something so small that is like a relationship with like your twin flame, it like just goes beyond that. Like the teaching is about God, and it's about creating heaven in every aspect of life on earth. And I didn't really realize that when exactly I saw that, you know, because like in the beginning I was like, yeah, okay, I know that they are twin flames, they have this teaching, I follow them because I want the result. And that's like something, it's okay to want that, because everybody wants their twin flame. So it's a good start point and it's perfect. But after some time and like watching the classes and getting like deeper into the teaching, I was like, well, okay, I knew that they talked about heaven on earth and how the planet is ascending and twin flames are helping with that, but I wasn't seeing my purpose specifically in the teaching itself. So I was seeing myself separate from my guru, let's say. I was like an observer outside. So I was like, and I know that it comes naturally, and it came naturally for me. Like I followed the teaching, and then like the more that I healed, the more love I was feeling for Jeff and Shaleia. And I was like, okay, yeah, like I see, like the more you go deeper, the more you actually see who they are and what their mission is and what their purpose is on earth. And that it is very honorable and everybody has their own peace in heaven, but and that also like everybody has to have like a guru, because it's needed. So yeah, like these were the major takeaways.
Yeah. And that's a perfect segue to what Soraya said about the difference from what Guru shares, from what you see from what other spiritual teachers or spiritual preachers share, is that, of course, there is an overlap, but where you understand what the Guru shares is you embody it. And when you embody that, you actually experience that. Information is just information, so you kind of relate to that, but if you are not embodying that, it's not foundational. With Jeff and Shaleia, we are learning to create a foundation for our life, to build a foundation and to grow into and expand into that foundation. So that's the most beautiful thing, because we learn and to embody the teaching. And as you said, the more we heal, the more love we also naturally feel for our gurus.
Yeah, and Soraya also talked about how she was watching some classic episodes. Yeah, I have also been really enjoying Jeff and Shaleia's early videos, their YouTube ones, and receiving them on a different level if you haven't watched it for a while. Yeah, that's one of the beauties of the way they're teaching. You always receive something, whatever level you're at, whatever level you've ascended to, wherever you started. It's like a completely different message. You always receive something new. It's like the poems of Rumi, because he reaches people on all levels, pretty much, and then he asks the viewer or the reader to reach higher in their own spiritual understanding. And the poems or the teachings, they do lift you higher. And I think Nikki was saying how when you first you were Jeff and Shaleia, before being ready to receive the teachings, I had a similar experience. I met Jeff on YouTube back in 2016 and spoke to him, and got some really good vibes from him. But at the time, Well, first of all, I didn't realize how different Shaleia were to all the other twin flame talkers. I was looking at too much stuff at the time. And I was thinking, well, I'm doing all right. I can do it on my own. Things are going really well with my twin flame. Yeah, until they weren't. Yeah, then I was ready to go deep into the teachings, and yeah, I drifted away from the Buddhism. I was literally looking for something new, and yeah, this was it. This was perfect. Yeah, I mean, looking back to that time, I might not have gone the distance if I'd jumped in straight away, but I am now. So for anybody who's thinking, well, I don't need support, I don't need the teaching, I can do it on my own. Well, if you don't want support, that's up to you. But I'll talk to you again in a couple of years. Sorry if it sounds harsh, but it certainly has been true in my experience.
Thank you for sharing your story, how you find them, because I resonate a lot, and I just can't highlight enough, as also Shaleia shared in the sermon, how hard the journey can become when you feel like you call everything in, but you're not ready because you don't have the full support yet. It's going to knock you over and really bring you to your knees until you finally see. That's like, I'm speaking for myself right now because it literally happened to me. I was brought to my knees. I had to humble myself and say, like, I can't and I don't want to do it anymore. They say I'm worthy of support, so I claim it. But I felt like I was moving a year before actually enrolling into Twin Flame Ascension School and committing myself to weekly Ascension coaching. I was moving through blogs towards Jeff and Shaleia like a lot. I was first like roaming around a little bit in the German community and watching German YouTube videos. I was like, oh, my English is not good enough to, start off with them. I tried it many times and I was like, yeah, no, I don't really feel it yet. And one time when I was even more brought to my knees and like things got worse in my reality with my twin flame as well, I was like, okay, God, I surrender. Show me the way and please, reveal them to me, please, God. Reveal Jeff and Shaleia to me. Are they my teachers? I know I've been calling perfect teachers in my whole life. I didn't know that this was called a guru. But I was like, I want the perfect teacher. I know my perfect lover exists. I know that my perfect teacher must exist. And so when I then saw them, I was first like really resistant as I shared, and I asked God, please reveal them to me. Show me if they say who they are, if it's real. And so God actually got me a really beautiful guru dream, and I will never forget this one. And it's still like very deeply ingrained into my consciousness. It was basically that Jeff and Shaleia visited me in the dream, and I shared it in the open forum, but I'm trying to, make it short, so I'm not gonna take up the whole time on this. Was basically they visited me, and we were literally in my high school. We were completely alone in there, and they were teaching me all the stuff from Twin Flame Ascension School, even though I didn't have it yet. It was like a fast track class, and it was like in timelines. And then when we finished, it was like my graduation day, kind of. And we were just celebrating together. And then suddenly, like a big witch appeared on the schoolyard. And she was like super upset and like super angry. And I was super scared of her. And I remember that Shaleia just like hugged me and she was like, everything is fine. And Jeff was like, yeah, I got this, I'm going to handle her. Please go ahead and bring yourself in a safe space. So we went into like another school building while Jeff was handling the witch at the schoolyard. And I always wanted to turn around and see like how he's doing, because I could just hear that the witch was saying, when they don't turn around, when they're not coming here back again, I'm going to kill you. And I was like, what the fuck? We have to go back and help him. Shaleia was like, calm down. Everything is fine. I'm trusting him. He can handle this. And as soon as we reached the building, the witch was like so super upset that we didn't turn around, that she smashed a building onto him, like a huge building onto him. And it was like, and the witch was laughing, and Jeff was like, she said like, Jeff is dead now. And I started crying. I felt so ashamed, like it's my fault that he died now. And oh my God. And I asked Shaleia, why are you not sad? What? You lost your man right now. And she was like, I can't lose him. We are one. And then literally, like the next, when she said that, she's like, surrender, it's all fine. We are safe. And I had some tears of gratitude rolling down, and even she had some tears of gratitude rolling down her cheeks. And the moment I surrendered, I felt a huge rush of peace flowing through me. And then, like the next second, Jeff entered that school building with an angel choir. It was like super, what the fuck? Just a super entrance. And he stood there and was like, I'm alive. I handled her. And that really showed me, like, first of all, this whole dream like transcended death to me, and also ego. That ego is really loud, tries to convince you that it's right, but it has no power whatsoever when you choose to not give it to it. And literally the day after that dream, I really said into my heart, okay, God, you really revealed them to me now. I really can feel that. I choose to accept them as my teachers. Later on, the term guru came in as well. And I enrolled into Twin Flame Ascension School. And it's, yeah, I'm super grateful for it, for every day and every encounter I had with them in my heart, in any dream, or in general with the classes, because it's a relationship you build with them. And I think it's super cool that we can all call in our guru dreams. And once in a while, like when you're ready or there's something really nice for you to receive, you will have that dream. And that we can call that in and cultivate that relationship within ourselves with them.
That was really beautiful. Thanks for sharing. It was also very funny. Yeah. I've yet to have a dream about Jeff and Shaleia. It hasn't happened yet, but I choose for it. So let's see. And yeah, like when I first became aware of Jeff and Shaleia, it was also like on YouTube. I've been watching like lots of twin flame videos on YouTube, and I'd seen pretty much all the content on there. And then I just saw Jeff and Shaleia's video like at the side, like as a suggestion. And I was just attracted to their energy, so I clicked on it. And they were talking, and I just had this like feeling like I knew them, even though I hadn't seen them before. And it was like really strange for me because I was like, wow, it's really weird. I know them, but I don't recognize how they look. And then they were just talking about twin flames. I can't even remember what video it was years ago. But as they were speaking, I was like, this feels different to other content that I've watched. And I felt like they know something, like they know something about something. And I knew that like they just were real, and that they were just genuine in what they were sharing, although I didn't understand the depth of it at that point. And then like I'd been thinking about like investing into Twin Flame Ascension School for a long time, but I didn't have the courage to do it. So I was like, it was in the back of my mind for about 6 months or so. When I hadn't joined the community, I was just like kind of on the outside, and just I bought the book Twin Flames Finding Your Ultimate Lover. I was like doing the mirror exercise. But one of like the last stages was actually joining the community, the Facebook group, Twin Flames Universe, open forum. And then it's really funny because like I went to past life regression therapy sessions, and I was like really into doing that, and I had 12 sessions, and it was like constant. And I guess I just wanted to like have a relationship with God, so that's why I did these like sessions. And then I got the courage to purchase Twin Flame Ascension School, And then basically on the same day I purchased it, like I think the following day I joined the group. So it happened all together at once. It was like postponed, and then all of a sudden I got it. And then like I didn't really realize that Jeff and Shaleia were my spiritual teacher. I did know that I wanted to have a spiritual teacher and someone who like could guide me through the twin flame journey. But I didn't associate with the word guru. And when I even joined the forum, I didn't know that they were my spiritual teacher until much later. And it was just over time that like the relationship became more and more clear to me, and I'm still going and it's still becoming more and more aware. Yeah, so that's my story, how I came about getting to know Jeff and Shaleia. And I think the reason that I felt like I knew them without having seen them is because my twin flame Madhu was already like in the group, and so like he knew them. So I think that's why I had that feeling like I know them, but I haven't seen them before.
Yeah, well, when I joined TFAS, yeah, I was not in a good place. So I was looking at all the twin flame stuff that I could find, and I came across Jeff and Shaleia again, and I already knew who they were. I'd watched some of their videos. I bought their book in 2016, and and I told Jeff that oh yeah, I'm doing the mirror exercise, and he said, oh, that's great, but I didn't know how to get past stage 2. I didn't know what I was doing with it. That's why we have coaching. All the coaches have their own coaches. It can take quite a bit learning how to love yourself if you don't know how, or haven't learned, or haven't been loved in the past, or received something that was labeled love but wasn't. And that is the core of the teaching. Only love is real. And so Soraya was saying how obviously not everybody is going to be doing this path. Well, naturally there are thousands of ways back to God. This is the way through twin flames. And not everybody is going to be in a place where they can actually receive the teachings when they hear them. It's like, for example, with the Buddhism, I was listening to a audio book which had been recorded by one of the monks, and my ex said he just didn't like his voice. He couldn't stand his voice, so he couldn't receive what was being said. The Buddhists would say, well, that's the person's karma, whether they can receive the teaching or not. Some people at the center complained that the way that it was taught was a bit too academic, but that's just the vehicle for the teaching. Yeah, and I had a client who left, who would listen to the TFAS classes, and she couldn't get past the audio, which the volume can be a bit up and down because it was recorded on Google Hangouts. It's going to be remastered. But all these little things are the way ego can prevent you from receiving the way out of ego. So, however, it's going to show up differently for everyone. It shows up for me in a certain way. It will show up for Carmen and Nikki in their own way. So, yes, you have to recognize ego when it comes up and set a boundary with it, set a boundary with that thought as soon as it arises, so you're not giving it any power, not giving it any energy, because you've got the power to create whatever you desire for yourself. So it's a process of like unlearning the idea that you can't, because you can. It's all there for you.
I love that. Yeah. I just wanted to mention something that while you guys like were sharing your stories, I just like got reminded of how to actually be sure that someone is your guru. And it's something that Shaleia also touched in the sermon, that you have to take the journey to see what the fruit of their teaching gives you. Is it fully love? Is it 80% love, but 20% whatever? And it's like a very personal journey and a personal relationship. And something that I got reminded of is that before we came in the community, and we have talked about this before, we had fake spiritual teachers, and we didn't really, like, we were young and like we didn't know how to really see or like be very aware of what the stuff that they were saying were affecting us on.
Yeah.
So our life was like very bad,
Yeah.
bad conditions, very bad. And we had like this desire. The thing is that our desire for our guru was real. It's just that we didn't know how to distinguish like good and bad at that moment. Or like we really just trusted fully and just gave our trust like fully and completely, like once, all at once. And after like we got out of that situation, we had like our time to just like heal this in the beginning when we entered like the community, and it took us some time, to be honest, because there was like a lot of stuck energy and like us projecting our upsets from our ex-spiritual teachers, because they were not, into like our true guru. And we were like, yeah, like we know, we can see, like we can feel that they are our guru, but we still had to take that journey inside. I like to really feel safe. And something that also like Jeff has told me specifically was that when you open your heart, you are able like to connect with the other person from heart to heart. And this is like how you will see. And he also like encouraged me to just take my time to feel safe and to open up naturally. And that was something that at that moment I was very grateful, and it took me time after that to actually be able to open up. And like even now I feel very good about it. Like I feel very safe. I feel very good with the community, with the teaching and everything. It's just that, just like thinking about it, like this sermon just brought up that as well and just cleared it, because I'm like, I can trust this teaching. I know the results. I know that I'm safe. I know God. The main thing was that God loves us. And we have this teaching through Jeff and Shaleia, and everything and every like aspect of the teaching is perfect because it is from God, essentially. And like there is no separation with the teaching. That's why something that also Shaleia mentioned was that we are very blessed to be like in this technology era with the teaching, that we can like watch classes wherever we want. We have Jeff and Shaleia with us everywhere. Like we can connect with them through their social medias, for example. So, and also with coaching, like it's part of the teaching. Like coaches are a blessing. And yeah, it's like Jeff and Shaleia through the coaches. So everywhere in the community, it's only love. Like there is no aspect here that lacks something. And that's like heaven on earth. And it's very beautiful because it's like just fully fulfilling and yeah, like safe and love.
Yeah, it's a new era. She also mentioned how Jesus had a certain purpose, and
yeah.
Jeff and Shaleia had the purpose to ascend the entire humanity through twin flames. And I remember at the time that we were blindly believing the fake spiritual teachers. The inside, what I feel now, at that time, we were subconsciously asking to be navigated and to be directed, because our intent and purpose was not aligning at the core with the fake spiritual teachers. Their intent was scamming and basically trying to get fed on your energy.
Yeah, and like be honoring ego and everything.
Yeah, and meanwhile, our intent was to really grow deeper into love.
Yeah, and find peace.
Yeah, and we manifested Jeff and Shaleia through a YouTube video. Nikki actually was the one that found it, showed it to me. At the first, I was like, okay, I'm going to watch these videos, and it's interesting what they have to say. And as I kept watching and watching, my mind at that time was programmed to doubt because of the fake spiritual teachers. And I really couldn't find a way to doubt, because in my heart, everything that they were saying were aligning. Even like the woo-woo stuff, inside of me, I was like fully aligning to them. So then I had to heal this, as Nikki also mentioned at the first, we struggled a bit with that. Then, yeah, we kind of like grounded into the safety of being part of the community and ascending and claiming Jeff and Shaleia as our gurus.
Yeah.
That was so beautiful. Yeah, thank you guys all for sharing this. I also feel it's very nice that we have the time to feel our way into that and open ourselves to that trust with our gurus, because that trust, that safety is not built overnight, and we are not forced to, accept them immediately as our gurus, but that it shows like that we are allowed to take our time, and they love us anyway. No matter how many blocks we still hold on to or what we perceive them to be, they still love us. God still loves us. Even though we don't see that or we don't feel that yet, they still love us. And sometimes we receive love through discipline or through getting triggered, which is love as well, because your gurus, our gurus, they work as a mirror as well. And so what many people also, I feel like, experience here, and me too, is like with Jeff having a lot of father wounds coming up, right? Or with Shaleia, a lot of mother wounds coming up to be healed and cleared out. And I feel when you also feel into the relationship of your parents, when you felt love there or actually very hurt, Jeff and Shaleia are going to mirror that to you, not by hurting you, of course, not like on purpose or something, but in some way or another, you will experience that. And I felt that too, like a lot of times. And I wasn't really aware that this is how I felt about my parents in my childhood. But, there is a connection definitely here, or how you feel about the divine masculine or the divine feminine in general. Or since they like have a family, how you feel about family, all of this is coming up. And, we are allowed to take our time to open up here, because this is something Jeff shared also under a post of mine some day ago. It's like the heart takes time to open up, and it's safe to take time. It's safe to ground and feel that within yourself. And I feel now there was something during the sermon coming up for me as well. Zoreya was sharing is that I think it were like Carl and Julia, like when you look at the early classes of Twin Flame Ascension School, when they came into harmonious union, I think it was them. Jeff asked them in another class, like, what did you guys do? What is the advice you would give other people to come into harmonious union as well? And they basically shared is like, yeah, we watched, of course, the classes, we apply your teachings, but we are listening to the classes with our heart. We are opening our heart while watching the classes. And I feel this is like the key point that Shaleia mentioned as well. Like, yeah, you can take in all this information. You can definitely study this and write it down as we are used to study, right? Have your notebook and write all these quotes down, which is also very healing, obviously, of course. But in their classes, in their book, in every product they have, and in everything they do and share, they speak to both hemispheres of the mind. I think this is also how they write it in the book. Like, don't only take it in with your mind, because sometimes when I do this, I notice for myself, I get tired and I'm not really able to take it more in. But when I relax in with my heart and ground and feel into this, you don't have to remember, you don't have to, remember every piece of detail and like watch it like as if you have to make a big post about it or something. But even if it's just a quote that you remember in your heart, this is like it that you are capable of handling at the moment, and this is perfect for you. And when you watch their classes, when you watch their content and receive anything of them, be in the community itself is like a spiritual blessing. Volunteering is a spiritual blessing. And you are automatically receiving this love, this blessing, and you will be able to handle this love more and more. And I feel it's very compassionate that we don't get like love bombed, because that would mean that everything that is out of alignment with love, not in alignment with love, would have to come up like explosively, upheaving. And this is like not compassionate. It's like, I think they share also in one class when it's like, we give you, chunks piece by piece, and you receive it when you're ready and go deeper with it when you're ready. But it's not like that. There are like people in a cave and it was completely dark the whole time. And it's like you suddenly, destroy the rocks and they get flashed by the sunlight and you get basically blinded, because when you go from dark to immediately bright, it's like, what the fuck? It's not compassionate. But now they get to pave the way also, like in the meditation, it was like this, right? You go a path, you have a small light switched on, and you clearly go more and more into the light. So you get used to it and you will be able to take in more and more when you perceive. And this is like really a gift. And in everything that you say or hear, like every spirituality and everything that has been, every master that has lived before them, is like what they are doing now is like they combined all these things together. I also feel like it's like the perfect combination of every religion that has ever been. And I forgot my point. Yeah, I think it's just beautiful that they have found a way to combine this, and that we are ready to fully receive this teaching and ascend with our perfect partner, with our twin flame together, and have it grounded in like also we are able to live our normal life and can also grow in abundance. Maybe I'll come back to the point that I just lost, but maybe it's not important for now.
I do that all the time as well. Yeah, an analogy that came to me when you were talking about ascension and not like receiving it all at once, because it wouldn't be compassionate. What I thought about was like when you eat chocolate, for example, you're like, that piece was nice, I'll have another piece, and then you receive that. You're like, oh, that was good, I'll have another couple of pieces of chocolate, and it's good. But then like if you eat like 2 bars of chocolate and then you move on to other sweets and other things, it goes to making you feel quite sick and you've had too much. And I guess that's kind of like the teachings, like that's why it's compassionate, just to receive a little bit at a time. And I think actually Jeff said something about this. He gave that analogy in Twin Flame Ascension School, as far as I remember. So that really resonates with me, because I know that I ate too many sweets and then I regret it. So I'm like, okay, this makes sense. So yeah, that's what I wanted to share.
I just wanted to mention a bit about what Carmen said for Julia and I don't know, Carl and Julia, yes. That it is true, like that they said that, oh, we took the message between your words. So it was like behind that. And that's like the relationship that you have inside with God and Guru. And like, that's where you receive the message and it's not outside. And yeah, I just wanted to say, I don't know why God tells me this to say this. I saw a class today and Shaleia was saying that people are prone to fixate on outside stuff because while they are growing up, they are learning about the world and about things and how they function and everything. And once they are fully developed, like physically, they do not go inside. They try to keep doing this stuff outside to make sense of things. And like I feel like this is related to seeing things and like trying to study them and trying to analyze them and not actually getting the inside spiritual part. And yeah, I don't know, just want to say that.
Yeah, we're conditioned to focus on the outside and trying to change our reality by fiddling about with the outside, but it doesn't work. We have to go in and change it on the inside and manifest the change on the outside.
Yeah, isn't that actually interesting that as a child we had that connection with life? Maybe we all had this imaginary friend, or we never kind of like felt alone until a specific point of time where we like started. I think at some age you start to develop your ego, or your ego like comes kind of like out. But as a child, it's easy to see a child as innocent because they are, but we are also innocent. And I think something that really strike with me also in acting school, and I feel it's very related to spirituality in general. It's like in acting school, we learned how to breathe correctly, which is like into the belly. And they shared with us that as a child, when we were younger, we automatically breathed into our belly. But at some point, we conditioned ourselves to breathe into the chest. And when you breathe into your chest, like you feel your system feels more stressed, and you have to actually have a lot of tension in your belly in order to breathe all the time into your chest. I mean, when you make sports, it's normal that you breathe there as well. But we are supposed to breathe into our belly because the organs can relax, and you have like a little belly then because the organs are going to be pushed down, and your whole system, your whole body will be like infused with your breath, and everything can circulate, and it's just nice, And so I was like, oh yeah, that's interesting. And I thought Jeff and Shaleia, it's like you actually relearn to be a child again. Because also like as children, there were many things that we did right. When a child falls down, it cries, it maybe was hurt for a second, but it just cries it out, feels its emotions, and then it continues, And that's it, like the flow of life. They kind of like mastered how to master life. They feel a lot of joy in everything they do, everything they see. It's new, every day is new, and oh, all these colors, and mom and dad, and wow. Just a lot of gratitude and joy there, and curiosity for life, for in themselves as well, like discovering how to walk and all of that stuff. And this is really beautiful that Jeff and Shaleia teach us also with the mirror exercise to see ourselves as a child when we have see this hurt part of ourselves. Because in one class they also share like, why you should see yourself as a child? Because it helps you recognize your own innocence, that you are innocent no matter what. And they also say, yeah, we are one child of God. We are a child of God. No, we are growing up, yes, but we will still always be like God's child. And we are allowed to receive that love. And in receiving this love, we are able to actually give back. And it feels good to give back and have that, good vicious cycle of expanding, going deeper into love with the community, with our twin flame, with our gurus, with everyone. Yeah, that feels just, really, really beautiful. And as Shaleia also shared in the sermon, when you actually apply the teachings, when you start loving yourself and, just kind of like say what they do what they say, then you feel naturally more and more gratitude and be able to see what Jeff and Shaleia are really doing and who they really are. And that's a process. But it's a beautiful process, and I will never want to miss that ever again. Yeah. I don't know about you guys. I'm starting to feel very complete. How about you?
I just wanted to say, yeah, I'm just very grateful for Jeff and Shaleia and their teachings. And like when we started this live session, I just felt overwhelmed, like with emotion of gratitude, and I felt that closeness to God and that warmth in my heart and that feeling of familiarity of being one with God.
Same.
Yep. Amen.
Amen to that. Yeah, me too. Thank you. It was a beautiful conclusion of that. I feel this is how we all feel, and something to just expand and ground into. And with that being said, I thank you everyone for watching, who's watching. When you're watching on YouTube, please remember to like and subscribe. And thank you all for participating here. It was a beautiful and loving discussion, and I hope to see you all around again. So thank you.